Welcome to this week's edition of the Regtech Africa News Roundup. And here are the top headlines for the week.
CBN Governor Cardoso says Nigeria aims for $1 trillion GDP in 8 years through economic reforms. Nigeria's fintech sector is expected to reach 60%, whilst the Regtech sector is on course to rise by 40% among all startups by 2026. Nigerian government announces launch of 3 million digital skills empowerment program. Microsoft commits to empowering 10 million SMEs by 2025. In Africa, Kenya assumes leadership in the fight against money laundering. In Rwanda, Mobile World Congress Kigali to spearhead digital innovation and bolster connectivity in Africa. And finally, UNDP unveils a rights-based digital ID governance framework. Now the news in details. Despite falling short of the 2020 target to achieve a $900 billion gross domestic product (GDP) in Nigeria, the country now has its sights set on expanding its economic stature to $1 trillion within the next 8 years. Yemi Cardoso, the newly appointed governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN), expressed confidence in the economic policy proposals of President Bola Tinubu's administration, believing that they can propel the nation's GDP to the $1 trillion mark within 8 years. Cardoso made the announcement during the 2023 World Bank IMF annual meetings held in Marrakesh, Western Morocco. Regtech Africa and AgPayTech have released a report on the state of Fintech and Regtech activities in Nigeria. The report indicated that in the first half of 2023, African fintech deals got up to 60 transactions and raised a combined $189 million in Q2 2023, a 64% reduction from the same period in 2022. According to the report, the Regtech sector is also on course to rise by 40% among the startups in Nigeria at the end of 2026. Besides, the report found an increase in Regtech solutions, mostly in the regulatory reporting and compliance, anti-money laundering (AML), and Know Your Customer (KYC) processes. The federal government of Nigeria has unveiled its plan to open applications for its ambitious 3 million digital skill empowerment program. The Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, made the announcement during a fireside conversation at Moonshot by Tech Cabal, adding that the application opens on Friday for all Nigerians to register. Microsoft Corporation has made a substantial commitment to empower 10 million small and medium enterprises (SMEs) by 2025. The initiative was unveiled by Lillian Barnard, president of Microsoft Africa, during a press conference held in Lagos, where Microsoft announced a strategic 5-year partnership with Flutterwave.
Do you want to develop strong foundation in regulatory fundamentals and the role of technology to achieve set organizational strategic plans? Sign up for the Regulatory Technology for Governance, Risk and Compliance training with AGRC in London and elevate your expertise.
In African news, Kenya is set to spearhead the region's efforts to combating money laundering as it takes over the leadership of the Eastern and Southern Africa Anti-Money Laundering Group next year. At the group's recent meeting in Kasane, Botswana, Kenya's Treasury Cabinet Secretary, Njuguna Ndungwu, assumed the role of the chair of the Council of Ministers, while the Director General of the Financial Reporting Center, Saitoti Olemaika, took on the position of the chair of the ESAA MLG Task Force of Senior Officials. The body operates as the Financial Action Task Force, aimed at combating money laundering, terrorist financing and proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. Africa's most extensive and influential connectivity event, the Mobile World Congress, Kigali, holds in October this year at Kigali Convention Center in Kenya. The event, which is primed to fast-track digital innovation and amplify connectivity, driving Africa towards sustainable development, brings together innovators and political leaders from across the continent and uniting them to create a brighter future for all. Finally, in world news, the United Nations Development Programme (UNDP) has released a comprehensive blog post outlining a rights-based and inclusive digital ID governance framework. This is in response to numerous requests for institutional support as governments worldwide are recognizing the need to adopt digital services for enhanced access and development. And that's it, a Regtech Africa News Roundup. Join us again next week for all other important news updates.